Warning, this video will feature jump scares. Five Nights at Freddy's. Ever since the fateful day of August 18th, 2014, the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise has taken the world by storm, becoming a nearly unavoidable cultural phenomenon. For anyone who's somehow unaware, Five Nights at Freddy's, heretofore known as FNAF, is a horror game series about haunted or otherwise aggressive animatronics, where the player must survive the night against a variety of threats in a variety of ways. The series is filled with complex lore about kids' restaurants and murder mysteries, and a mix of characters adorable, terrifying, tragic, and funny. It began with games before slowly extending its grasp into mountains of merchandise, books, and recently a movie. From its humble roots of one disgruntled creator making what was supposed to be his last game, to hordes of screeching 8-year-olds in Walmart demanding Firework Freddy action figures, the franchise has come a long way. Today, I will be counting down the 10 best Five Nights at Freddy's character designs, in my humble opinion. But first, let's set some ground rules. Number 1. Only animatronics will be counted. In the series, there have been human characters and designs of toys or decorations that, though they're distinct, won't be counted because they're not animatronics, and including them kinda opens up the floodgates. For example, that funny fruit punch clown from earlier is a decoration and won't be in the running. Sorry, buddy. Number 1A. AR skins will not be counted. In case you may not know what that is, there was a Five Nights at Freddy's mobile game called Five Nights at Freddy's AR, where players could send one another animatronics in the game, sort of like Pokemon Go. There were a lot of different skins in the game, and they won't be considered here as they are not canon to the franchise and consist of such wonderful designs as Liberty Chica and Sunken Toy Bonnie. Yeah. Number 2. All appeals of designs are considered. This isn't a top 10 scariest, cutest, or coolest list, but just best overall. The modern glam rocks and the terrifying nightmares have the same chance in the running. Number 3. Don't worry about the story. While story elements do affect rankings, don't worry. You don't need to know the vast lore of the series to understand this video. Anything important to a character's ranking will be specifically mentioned. Make sure to drop any unanswered questions in the comments if I miss anything, and I'll try to get back to you. Now, let's get into it. Starting off, lowest but not least at number 10 is the ever-classic Foxy the Pirate Fox. This swashbuckling, hook-wearing, shockingly fast boy has been a fan favorite since the inception of the series with FNAF 1. He has an air of mystery to him as he's tattered and in the shadows, and his stage bears an ominous out-of-order sign, letting the imagination wander as to what might have happened to make him this way. Additionally, throughout the night, you may just hear a mysterious "da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum-dum" from him to throw you off your game. And if you don't look at him on the cameras enough, he just might. As a whole, Foxy's cool design and heightened theming when compared to the rest of the animatronics in the first game make him a standout choice, and, in the minds of many, the best design in that game. Also, he started the line of Foxy variants, which have the most entries on this list, so he gets some extra points for that. Great job, Foxy.
Arrgh, you never stood a chance!
Next up is in fact a Foxy variant from later down the line. At number 9, we have Rockstar Foxy. He's the new and shiny Foxy from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator, with his classic hook and eye patch, but with the addition of a new friend this time, a little bird on his shoulder. In his first game appearance, Rockstar Foxy wasn't much, posing no threat and basically being a Foxy-shaped decoration that could be purchased and placed in the Tycoon section of the game where the player builds a pizzeria. However, in the following game, Ultimate Custom Night, a mashup game with 50 animatronic threats, he was given a new purpose. Once in a while, Foxy's bird will fly across the screen, and when clicked, Foxy will pop up and help the player out. Unless they get unlucky, then...
Yar, you win some, you lose some.
But this uniquely helpful nature, the risk he posed, and his cool new pirate voice skyrocketed him to popularity, and let his design really be appreciated as more than the set dressing he'd been relegated to.
Yar, what can I do for ya?
And next at number 8, we have a variant of the man himself, Nightmare Freddy. In FNAF 4, we were introduced to the Nightmare animatronics, terrifying and tattered monstrosities that the player had to fend off in their own bedroom. Nightmare Freddy epitomizes all that is scary about the nightmares, with his pointed teeth and hands like claws, smaller versions of himself with just as deadly mouths crawling out from the gaping holes in his outer shell to get you. He hides under your bed and sends his Freddles out to wait. They sit there screeching like little maniacs until you've waited too long to check on him, and While Nightmare Freddy isn't always a fan favorite, and many criticize the nightmares for trying too hard to be scary, he accomplishes it perfectly, and I think gets that brand of scary just right.
No light can save you now.
Our first, technically not an animatronic entry, is up at number 7, and that is Ennard. Ennard is not his own attraction, but a massive amalgamation of animatronics that have had their innards, hence the name, ripped out of them, and have fused into a hive mind of writhing wires. Throughout the game's sister location, Ennard poses as the mascot of the game, Circus Baby, by imitating her voice, and it's only revealed that the player has been tricked at the very end, where he scoops out the player's innards to use as a shell.
The scooper only hurts for a moment.
Though he can admittedly look goofy on rare occasions, he can just as equally be terrifying, a humanoid mass of wriggling wires coming together in one body with the intent to kill, and his origins make him all the more intimidating. He's a fan favorite for the sheer terror that he can bring.
You won't die, and it will only hurt for a moment.
Another entry coming from the sister location game is Funtime Freddy taking spot number 6. He looks rounder and smoother than most animatronics, being sleek and modern with bright colors and rounded edges, as well as being sidelined from the leading position, so you would think that would make him thoroughly unscary. He was built to appeal to kids, with Bon Bon, the cute little hand puppet, even joining him. But that is until you're in a pitch-dark room with a faintly flickering light, having to use his own puppet's audio cues to keep this hulking, killing machine at bay while you fix the building's power. And if you let him get too close... All in all, Funtime Freddy adapts well to his environment, being adorable and kid-friendly when he performs, and a horrifying mechanical creation when he's stalking you in the dark. Although, with his blueprints showing his luring mechanisms and the child stuffed inside him, he might not be so kid-friendly after all.
Hey, Bon, go get him!
At number 5, we have the tattered and discarded Withered Bonnie featured in FNAF 2, a prequel to the originals. FNAF 2 saw the Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Company trying out new and shiny toy animatronics while keeping the originals rotting in the parts and service room. Withered Bonnie is seen in a truly pathetic state, with his left arm only having wires remaining, his left foot and right hand missing the outer casing, and his entire face ripped off. His eyes only red lights among the tangle of his internal wires. He stumbles around, glaring eyelessly into the cameras, making his way slowly to the office until he pulls down your camera and... All around, Withered Bonnie's terrifying appearance has made him a fan favorite in that regard, to this day being considered one of the most naturally scary animatronics. However, his rotting state has also made him a fan favorite out of love and pity, with many fans making seriously adorable art of other characters expressing sympathy for him. He also has a great sense of humor about it. Next up at number 4, we have Scrap Baby, one of the enemies from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. Scrap Baby's lore is complicated, but the most basic explanation is that Circus Baby was one of the animatronics that became part of Ennard, and her soul eventually split off from him and reconstructed herself with scraps and spare parts. She takes the form of a trashed circus baby with exposed wiring everywhere, a shattered face, a massive claw for her right hand, roller skates for feet, and spiky hair constructed from wires. After picking her up from the dumpster, the player salvages her, giving a terrifying look at her in the shadows. As the player does their business tasks each night, they must monitor their left and right vents, and if they miss Scrap Baby's signals and let her slip past... As a whole, Scrap Baby is an epic evolution of Circus Baby's frankly underused design, expanding her lore and upgrading her with some real scare factor.
Let's see how many pieces I can cut you into.
At number 3, Sun from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach joins our list. This cheerful, glitter-glue-loving daycare attendant with a jester-like appearance and a bright sun for a face and a permanent ear-to-ear smile absolutely captured the hearts of fans upon the game's release. Wait, what's... Oh, I almost forgot. We can't forget about Moon, Sun's less-than-cheery alter ego that he transforms into when the lights go out. His jester costume going dark and his face turning to a malicious crescent with glowing red eyes. In the game, the lights go out as Sun is attempting to keep the player safe, and they must now turn on a series of generators while being stalked by the murderous Moon. And if you can't keep him away... Overall, Sun and Moon excel at appearing terrifying in-game as they creep up on you in the dark, while also being believably loved by children and adults alike. Their personalities bring a sense of relatability and sympathy, while also making it uncannily terrifying when Moon crawls at you like an animal.
Hey, are you having fun yet? Are ya? Nighty-night.
Firmly grasping the number 2 spot with his still intact hand is Mangle from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This bucket of bolts, formerly known as Toy Foxy, sports a uniquely chaotic and dismantled design, with a mishmash of colorful parts, wires, and exposed endoskeleton after years of being a take-apart and put-back-together attraction for kids. Mangle remains a major fan favorite, even coming up on 9 years after FNAF 2's release, captivating players with her unsettling design as well as an element of love and pity like Withered Bonnie. Mangle's design excels at something not often seen in the series. It humanizes her and builds up a sense of tragedy without needing deep lore or shock value. She's a sentient, broken toy that deserves better than languishing in a corner and being destroyed every day for entertainment, but it's the hand she was given. And at night, he stalks the player, crawling along the ceiling, and if you let her get in your office... As a whole, Mangle's intriguing and creepy design and sympathetic condition has captured the minds and hearts of FNAF fans, despite her relative lore unimportance, bringing her all the way up near the top of the list.
Now I get to play take apart and put back together. You won't feel a thing.
And finally, at the number 1 spot, FNAF fans probably saw this one coming, is Springtrap from FNAF 3. Springtrap is a grotesque amalgamation of animatronic and human, a decayed golden rabbit suit with a twisted grin, made green and tattered with age with a rotting corpse stuck inside. With this design alone, he could easily be one of the most terrifying figures in the franchise, epitomizing FNAF's horror. However, the story behind this design elevates him even higher above all others. He was the catalyst for the entire story of the FNAF series. The corpse held within Springtrap is the founder of the business, as well as the original murderer, who committed the first child murders that set off all of these animatronic horrors. There is an ironic tragedy to the condition he is left in, stuck rotting and yet living, inside of the very suit that he used to lure and murder children in. In the third game, Springtrap stalks the player in the halls of a horror attraction, and the player must use audio lures of a child's laughter to keep him away. And if he's allowed to creep too close, you might just meet the same fate as his victims.
I always come back.
So that was the top 10 best Five Nights at Freddy's character designs in my humble opinion. The series' variety of characters definitely gave a lot of solid options, and it was difficult for me to pick, so if your opinion differs, let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to respond.
Come back soon and have a Fazerific day.